You okay? I'll record a conversation. Where are you now? Long Island? Where?
We're in Manhattan. We've lived here for a number of years now.
Like 3 or 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years, I think.
Yeah, yeah. 2 years, 4 years, 5 years.
I don't know. I don't even know.
No, I think it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's start. You, the Dario brothers of Italian origin. I mean, where does your family come from? I mean, your father's family, I guess. But
This is the question for you.
I don't really know.
Yeah,
Is
we
it
don't really
Sicily? I don't know, but the problem is that my father's mother is also Italian too, and she was, I believe, second generation. But
We didn't really have much of a relationship.
we don't
with
have
our
much of a
grand-
relationship with our
our
father's
father's
side of the family. We're very close with our father, but we don't have much of a relationship with their side of the family. So,
We're a bit
unfortunately,
ignorant.
no
we're pretty
Italian
ignorant
spoken.
to it, yeah.
No Italian spoken at home. So no
No,
Italian spoken. Okay. Let's start with your father. I mean, your father, fed you. He's a composer. He's a songwriter. He's a well-known
Yeah,
songwriter. So,
well,
my
well known.
curiosity. Well, he is. There's a tribute album coming out. We'll talk about it later, maybe. He fed you 60s and 70s music when you were kids. What happened? This passion of yours for 60s, for the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and Star. I mean, those people. I mean, that era.
well, what happened was we watched SpongeBob, and we also watched the Beatles anthology when we were very small.
Is it?
I'm just saying that those were our favorite
Oh, I see.
shows.
His point is that when we were children, we
Viewed them the same.
watched Anthology, and we watched The Ed Sullivan Show, and we watched uh Help and Yellow Submarine and all those Beatle movies, and we watched the Monkeys TV show as though it was, like all of those children's shows were for other kids. That's kind of what we were fed to watch. So it gave us this image of these people, the Beatles or the Beach Boys or the Dave Clark Five or Herman Sermons, like they were like cartoon characters or superheroes or something like that, that we wanted to be exactly like them.
Let me ask you something. Contemporary music to your teens, your like the Strokes, or maybe even I don't know, maybe even Beyonce, Lana Del Rey. Uh, they don't do anything for you. They don't mean anything for you. They never meant anything
No,
for you.
no, they don't even mean, they don't, it just sounds like noise, the Strokes.
Yeah, depend. I mean, I guess it kind of depends for me. I mean, there are definitely certain records like Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West records that I've definitely gotten deep into and would still make me feel something. But they're very few.
They're few and far between. I think it's a matter of those records have some kind of artistic bend and this kind of personality aspect of it, like the Rolling Stones do. You know what I mean? And
Uh,
plus a very impressive production. Whereas the people that you mentioned feel so one-dimensional,
mhm.
and plus the sonics are displeasing, just the way that the sounds are and how it's recorded. With the digital aspect, to me personally, is pretty displeasing.
Mhm.
And I like to listen to things that sound
Good too.
good to me.
Yeah, may I ask you, from day one, all you ever recorded was all done on an analog with analog instruments. You don't use modern instruments. Do you use synths though to recreate the sounds of horns?
Synths, yeah,
Maybe. Just
yeah, but
wondering.
the synths are usually vintage synths. I mean, from the 70s or whatever. Um we've used on occasion Mellotron samples on an 80s sampler
Oh yeah, we use that
on an 80s sampler keyboard. But I mean, yeah, most of the time we use all the real stuff, and we do it all on tape. So um, it's pretty analog through and through.
But you use instruments that the Beach Boys won't have used in the 1960s. That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting
I
at.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we will
Yeah,
occasionally,
yeah.
we will allow ourselves that freedom.
So you're 27 or 25. One of you is
Yeah.
27, one is 25. You've developed an admirable ability. I mean, in your music. I mean, the perfection of this new album in particular. It's like you play all the instruments yourselves. Am I mistaken? What did it take to become so good? You know, in because it's you multi-instrument. That's all you did all your lives. I mean, you became adept after studying a lot. I mean, academically or can you explain this part of your life?
We didn't really have any sort of academic
Creation. Sorry?
training.
Yeah,
We like I took classical guitar lessons for
Yeah.
like 12 years. So that was actually like it wasn't necessarily academic, but it was studying with a very good player, and that really helped in my patience for trying to
dexterity.
play cello on our recordings. And when it came to playing trumpet on our recordings, it's like I'm really no good at all. But we're both just very willing to sit there for
Hours
eight
and
hours
hours, yeah.
and work on a 2-minute song for that amount of time.
On just the trumpet. Well, I think that what Brian might not see is that his dexterity and proficiency on bass and guitar, which I think does come a lot from the classical, allows us so much freedom in the studio when it comes to recording and overdubbing, because I can ask him to play one line, that I could never, it would take me ages to play, and it would take most guitarists ages to play, but he's able to do it instantly and take a few minutes and do it perfectly, and we'll double it. I mean, it's just like, it's a really, really useful tool in the studio. And, we never strive for, like, drumming wise and stuff. It's all kind of the things that we hear in our heads are within the realm of the things that we can perform in real life. So
Yeah.
we're able to create the kind of perfect recordings. The problem arises when we get to the cellos and the trumpets and stuff like that, where it's getting out of our range of ability, and we need to sit there for hours, or we need to hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about the brother and brother relationship. In interviews, you usually stress that it's not a Gallagher or a Davis kind of relationship. Like there is no dominant personality, uh, or
Well,
is there? Is there?
Michael definitely has a more dominant personality, but we're both very I don't know, I think we are appreciative of each other's strengths, and like he just was giving me a lot of praise in a certain area. We're like very aware of each other's strengths, and we try to there's definitely been periods where I can say that I've ignored things that he was very adept at because I had this pride of, well, I can do it all myself. I can do it all myself. But we just had to sort of like, we had to keep working together and mature,
Well,
to,
I think that
to get over that.
we both lead in a lot of aspects, and we both sit back in a lot of aspects. So I think, I might be more dominant personality in that typical meeting somebody sense, and being kind of more talkative and all this stuff. But when we're in rehearsal with the group, Brian is undoubtedly the leader. He's undoubtedly dictating what's happening in the rehearsal. I mean, there's really no debating that. So I don't know. He's in the middle. To me, Brian is the centerpiece of the band, but I'm like the Rick Nielsen, the fun,
Rick Nielsen.
yeah, the fun cheap trick, guy who's on the side jumping around, but
The Joker of the band. He
yeah.
was the kind of Joker of the band.
Mhm.
Any fights between you two
Yeah, constantly.
through the
And that's
years?
something the other guys in the band hate it. They
Mhm.
get very annoyed when we start to
Pick on each other.
bicker. Uh
I mean, but it was worse. It was more it was worse when we artistically were in different places and didn't really want the fact that
we have
we
a common goal.
have a common goal allows the fights to sort of dissipate uh, quickly.
Okay.
I think if that ever wasn't the case, then we probably wouldn't, I don't know, see as much of each
Yes,
other.
that's I think that is the separating factor about the periods at which Brian and I get along and when we don't get along. There's always fights, but if our common goal is the same, we're getting along. You know what I mean?
Is it possible to say that it's a real band with four people? I mean, in the videos, there's four people. I mean, it's not.
Not really.
It's not. It's not.
It's
It's just
not
for
really possible.
show. Just
It's more of it's more of a yeah, I guess for show. I mean, we
But I mean, the
respect
way
their opinions.
the way we kind of consider it though when we're on the road is that we do consider their opinions like a lot, when we're playing shows. It's not sort of like, I don't know, we're not like, we've been more dictatorial with previous incarnations of the band, when it comes to a live set sense, in a live sense. I mean, they definitely defer to us a lot and they play a lot of the parts that we give them, but it's just more of an open band feeling when we're playing shows. And so I don't know, coming off of the tours that we did last year and think focusing on videos and stuff, it felt right to incorporate them in the videos. That was basically what it
Yes,
was.
and I think that also they are instrumental in the sound that we have live, which is a sound that a lot of people really, really like. A lot of people prefer the way we sound live, and I think that they are a huge part of that. So
Yeah.
okay. Are you surprised that people from your generation, the success that you had, also for people from your generation, with this kind of style, which is it hankers back to the 60s and 70s. Did you expect that? Because you know your generation maybe better than me, probably.
Well, it's weird for us because when we started, we were like teenagers. So we were aware that there was almost like with our live show at the time, and we were switching off, and there was almost like a gimmick to it. We were like teenagers, we're switching off. We play like it almost like the style of the music, because it was in a pop framework, the style was like inconsequential. But as we've like continued, like I have been, we're pleasantly surprised by the amount of people that have hung on to what we've done, and the fact that at this point we're getting a lot of new fans is like, surprise. It was definitely surprising after the last record because we got rejected by a lot of different labels and stuff, so
Yeah.
that we had sent the record to. So we were like, well, if they don't hear it, then it's probably just more of a personal thing that's going to cater to our existing fans.
Okay, you solved the problem. You with I can't remember the name of the label now.
Capture track.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, Capture Tracks. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it ended
So
up being much better for us to be with them.
yeah, did you have a set idea of what this new album, fifth album, was going to be compared to the other ones? It's self-produced, but it's your second self-produced album, by the way, which
It's
is
our
an
well, it's
achievement itself.
our well, I mean, it's really our one, two, fourth self-produced album, because technically our Songs for the General Public album was we were the producers on it, but we also had help with the production with Jonathan Rado.
yeah, after kind of more of a mixing thing, but then also our second record, Go to School, was produced by us, albeit poorly, but it was produced by us. This is probably our second successful
Second
production of ourselves. But yeah, I don't know. I we didn't have necessarily the idea of what the sound of it was going to be. We knew that after the last record, we wanted to make a record with some more upbeat songs because we felt like the last record was a little melancholic and kind of down. And so that's the only criteria we had going into it. We didn't know it would turn out to be such a flowery kind of sunshine record.
We had worked so much with like string players on the previous record that we didn't even really want strings and horns on the album, but somewhere along the line we kind of
Felt certain
really
things needed it.
yeah.
And I think that we also knew we wanted to kind of lock ourselves in a room and not work with anybody for this record. And the last record, Everything Harmony, we had used some musicians for that, and we'd used the string players. Obviously, we'd had an engineer with us in California, so the idea was to just kind of do it the way we always did it when we were teenagers, but the right way, kind of the same value.
Yeah, this one song, one track for the eyes of a girl, I think it's called, which is sorry, somebody? Okay. My reference in Italy for your interview. There was for the eyes of a girl, where you collaborated with Sean Lennon.
Yeah.
It sounded like because I read about this thing. You collaborating with Sean Lennon on one song, but that particular song, it sounds exactly like, I mean, in my opinion, like a Beach Boys song, pre Pet Sounds, before they did Pet Sounds. It's perfect. I mean, and it's evolution, the melody and the atmosphere. So I was wondering, I thought he contributed to more psychedelic track. What did Sean Lennon? What do you call what did you call him on that particular track? What
Well,
did he contribute exactly?
Sean is very flexible. He's just another great musician. So he can he may be known for that kind of psychedelic thing, but he doesn't need to do that. And I think his first record, that Friendly Fire record, is
indebted to Beach Boysy kind of melodies and stuff. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it adheres to typical song structure and its songwritery. It may have a sort of slightly psychedelic band over top of it, this layer of production, but it's really just a normal songs, well written with interesting melodies. So he was able to, the song was almost finished, but it was not quite done when we brought it to be recorded at Sean's house. And he was able to tell us, well, that's interesting. That's good. You should do that, melodically and all that stuff. And when we recorded it, we recorded just the basic tracks with him. He played bass and Brian played piano and I played drums. And we also did 2 other songs. So we spent most of the time on the 2 other songs. This was kind of just something that we had half finished. And then when we took it back to our place, we finished it off. So on the other song, he contributed, but mostly he contributed the way that a producer would. He played bass on both songs that we did, but he contributed mostly suggestions, and he had a lot of good ones. And Brian played most of the instruments on everything that we did there.
Music critics are wicked sometimes. You know that. I read a review of one of your albums. I think the one before the last one. You were compared to the Rattles. You know who the Rattles
Yeah, of
are? Yeah.
course.
Uh,
Yeah, huge
how do
Ruddles
you
fan.
react? How do you react when people say you kind of like a 21st century version of the Rattles?
Well,
Wicked question.
the
Wicked question.
Ruddles are wonderful.
Yeah, the
The
songs are
Ruddles,
the
the
best.
songs from the Ruddles are incredible songs. I mean,
They're obviously done with the aim of like being funny, but then some of them really cross over into being very good songs. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It's just
I'm much more insulted when people compare us to Chicago.
yeah,
They did? Really?
People compare
I
us to
can
like
feel it.
Chicago and
bread.
bread, and I'm always like,
Oh.
what the fuck? What are you smoking? I don't know what I don't. It's such a simplistic view because they just think old, and then they say, oh, that. So the Ruddles to me isn't a bad comparison, but it's I
I
get
understand
what
the
they're
dig.
trying
I
to
understand what the
say.
dig is, but
Yeah, but it's
to us, it's just like there's so many bands that worked off of those textures and sounds that create the Beatles, created or whatever, that were able to come up with amazing melodies and songs. So we don't take just working off of a stylistic template to be a negative thing. So,
no,
I mean,
no.
if
It
they
would be
were criticizing the melody or something, if someone was criticizing the melody and saying it was too similar to this other melody, that would bother me.
yeah. What's the song? That'd be
And
like
they
if
might
you were like
they
if
could
you were like Baby Driver is too much like the Everly Brothers. It's like it's just it doesn't
compute.
compute to me. To me, it's interesting enough, and it works on its own. And it's not fascinating to me to try to come up with new riffs to play for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And just change the thing a little bit. But it is fascinating to me to come up with different chord combinations and make a cool pop song out of it, in whatever style it is.
Yeah, this new album is a very 60s album in feel. It sounds
Yeah.
very, very 60s, Beatlesy and Beach Boysy, But there's one track which is really different. It's the last one, Rock On. Rock On, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is absolutely. It's glam. It's glam rock. It
Uh-huh.
sounds like I don't know. Gary Glitter makes me think of Gary Glitter, Mark Bolan. Whose was the idea for that type of sound? That you needed that
Well,
type
it
of
was my
sound at the end of the album.
yeah, we had trouble recording it because there were so many different ways you can handle it. I mean, I had kind of envisioned a more kind of do it again Beach Boys type rocker, but the way it came out was just was more of that glam thing, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really know. I think it's a great song. I don't know if
it was
that
your
treatment.
idea. It was your idea, Michael? It was
It's my
your.
song.
It's your
It's my
song.
song. It was it was a combination of our ideas to get it to the place that it got to. Yeah, it is clearly glam influence. I don't really know
I
why.
like it. I do like it, but it just stands out. It's different. It's different from the rest of the
Yeah,
album.
Yeah,
I've heard that. I've heard that. And
yeah, I think, but it's one of those songs that when we finished the record, we were like, well, this is definitely a good version of this song, but we might even try to record it again,
yeah,
but in just a different style, just because a rock song can be taken a lot of different ways,
yeah,
something like that. So
yeah. But it's cool. I don't know. I don't know where it came from. We have a lot of different influences, and we're just hoping that they sound,
cohesive.
cohesive by the end
Yeah.
of the process.
Yeah.
So, from what you said, there are Brian songs and Michael songs. So
Yeah.
so you compose separately. Yeah, I thought you
Yeah.
were like composing in Lennon McCartney way, the beginning, like together. No, it's not
We're
like that.
composing Lennon McCartney
Se-
way towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end. Lennon McCartney at the end.
Yeah.
We
Let it
we,
be.
we write we put that we do it together because we feel like we put so much work into each other's songs on the production side. You know,
We should get equal
we should get equal
splits.
for
Credits.
everything because there's so much. So it's all, you know, it's all good. This like the same amount of work, and in fact, I think I probably work harder on Brian's songs than I work on my own, and it's probably the same for him because there's a level of I don't really want to do this as much as I'd like to do my own. So you're getting past that and still able to work really hard on it. I think it deserves you deserve a medal for that.
So, guys, I think we are about at the end of our allotted 20 minutes. I would like to ask you a last song. What is the best album ever done, in your opinion? Is it the same for both of you? Maybe it's a different one for, which has got the kind of level that you would like you aiming at.
I think
The
Pet
songs.
Sounds, because Pet Sounds is it's just like everything that pop music I think could be, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, composition on the level of classical composers, or, you know, American, you know, or like, you know, the Great American Songbook style composers, you know. And yeah, I think that's like, as I don't know, for someone for people with our skill set, it's probably best for us to have something like that as like a guiding light than something a little bit more primal or something.
Like Revolver.
Yeah,
I think Revolver is so amazing, but I would have to say Pet Sounds also because, and it's hard to not say a Beatle record, but it would have to be Pet Sounds. It's just more well written than Revolver. Revolver is like a studio, like it's like 75% incredible songwriting and 25% studio experimentation, whereas Pet Sounds is like 100% incredible songwriting, handled expertly in the studio, and it's totally innovative in every respect. I don't know.
No.
Revolver is more attainable, as godlike as it is. You know, Pet Sounds is like, you know, from on high.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Brian Wilson?
No,
we've stood close to him and been backstage at Brian Wilson shows, and we've hung out with his band a lot,
yeah.
And but you know, it's never really been a good time, and you know, every time that we've been sort of had that kind of like a relationship with members of the band, you know, he's been he's been older, and it didn't seem like, I don't know, it was never anything that we pushed, and it's not anything that we would like, you know, hope for today, because, you know, it's like, you know, when someone gets to that age, it's like they should be around their family. You know?
We don't need
They shouldn't have people like, you know, sprung upon them. Hey, here's two people that you
meet these
recognize.
guys.
Yeah,
They're not even, you know,
it's enough to, you know,
on the charts.
obviously enough to have the music and interviews.
We feel like we know them.
The best.
Sure. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for the interview. I think it's probably going to be sent to you when it's done. Okay. Many compliments for the album, and okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Michael. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing you live in Italy. Come
Yeah,
live in Italy.
I think
Yeah.
September.
Yeah, we're hoping to get some stuff in September. Then.
Come to Rome, because nobody comes to Rome. They all go to Milan. Nobody comes to Rome. I don't know why. So insist.
Yeah, I would love to see Rome. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, see ya.
See you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a nice day.